Babysitting is in room 1213. There's a children's service going on now in the multi-purpose room. Pickup will be in various classrooms throughout the school wing at the conclusion of this service. Will the congregation please rise?
משכנותיך ישראל, מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל, ואני ברוב חסדך אבוא ביתך, אשתחווה לך על קודשך ביראתך.
Please be seated. It is my pleasure to call to the bima Nancy and Steve Gartenberg.
Shana Tova. Happy New Year from our family to yours. We were honored to be asked to share our particular journey with you today as we welcome the new year. In a year of significant transitions for us as a congregation, I want to share the transitions that Steve and I have experienced as a couple, then family, and how BethChaim has been an anchor for us, a safe haven, a dock for our family boat. The joke in my family is that my father sent me to an all-women's Catholic college in Lakewood, New Jersey to meet and ultimately marry a conservative Jew. And my dad thought he had it all covered. My husband and I both come from pretty devout families. Neither of us came from families where interfaith marriage is a common occurrence. When I say that, I mean Jews marry Jews, Catholics marry Catholics, and not just any old Christian. When we met and married, we decided to raise our children Jewish. We, or should I say I, took a pretty academic approach to this process. Being an educator for 28 years, teaching students and encountering countless challenging family situations, I began to see a waywardness or a piece missing. I firmly believe that there is a real need for a religious affiliation, actually more than just a religious affiliation or a relationship with an edifice. We need to be educated on what it means to make a connection with God and what it means to have faith as an individual when no one else is around to hear our questions, doubts, and hopes.
Although we were in different religious camps due to our upbringing, we each brought to our relationship consistent values. We were both raised in faith-based communities, and our parents were leaders in their respective religious organizations. Our parents modeled for us the importance of attending services, albeit forced at times, and we were both lifelong members of thriving congregations. For as many differences that we had religiously, we were committed to finding more similarities. BethChaim helped us to see that. I consider myself a pretty active and in-tune dad, but my own formal Jewish education ended at 13 and included some skipped Hebrew classes en route to my own bar mitzvah. Those were the days when kids rode their bikes to Hebrew school. Although Jewish, I did not feel particularly equipped to guide Nancy through this journey. We took our strong upbringing and lessons from our parents and searched the area for a safe place for us to raise our family, a partner to assist us in this most important transition, a place where the welcome mat was rolled out for people like us. Fortunately, we found that place here at BethChaim. Nancy and I took our young son, Sam, Emma was a baby, to Miss Robin's Bagels and Blocks class. As a preschool teacher, Miss Robin taught with stories and songs.
Teacher to teacher, Miss Robin and I talked about the power of music. During her classes, we sang songs in advance of each holiday. The tunes were catchy, and I felt that I could do this. Miss Robin said, "You can do this. He's only 3." For what Miss Robin didn't know was that she was also my teacher. Robin suggested that I bring a dozen or so blank CDs. Yes, there was no Spotify back then. And she offered to burn discs for me of all of the holiday songs and prayers. I even received another copy of the Cantor's music, one for each car. We thought that if I was more familiar with the tunes and the prayers, I would be more confident in my ability to support my children in their Jewish education. I learned to shake a lulav. I didn't even know what a lulav was. Through song, there was prayer and storytelling. We played those discs all the time in our car and sang as a family. Thank you, Miss Robin. I made the decision not to convert when I was first married. Although I did not know what I thought about me being Jewish, I was committed to my children being Jewish. Of course, the in-laws were ecstatic. However, after the birth of my daughter, I decided to choose Judaism. I didn't convert for my children. I didn't convert for my husband. Steve never once asked me to convert. I was attracted to Judaism. I was always amazed that Jews were Jews everywhere. That concept was relatively unfamiliar to me. As I grew up, right or wrong, being Catholic in a church, and I thought that's the only place that you were Catholic. In 2003, I received a brochure that included an introduction to Judaism class being taught by our very own Darab, the Sultan of the synagogue, the Ben Torah of BethChaim, Rabbi Wisnia. I was able to share my innermost concerns about the conversion process with Rabbi Wisnia and felt as comfortable as I ever have sharing such personal doubts and questions.
Our children attended BethChaim preschool and Hebrew school. We announced early on to both Sam and Emma that they would take their religious education to the highest level in high school, to their confirmation. Sam tried never to miss Chinese food and conversation nights with the rabbi and loved the discussions about Israel and the military. What boy doesn't? He did all of this just to be in the presence of the rabbi, even though he very much dislikes Chinese food. Emma makes her confirmation this spring, and although the rabbi will not be involved in this rite of passage, the first one of our family, we are so excited for him to be able to take time for himself to accomplish his personal goal, to write a book. Sam and Emma had the privilege of working closely with Rabbi Blum and Cantor Binder for their B'nai Mitzvahs, and we feel confident with their leadership as we move forward into this twilight, this in-between, if I can quote Rabbi Blum from last night. Our whole family has come to realize what a treasure Ann Berman Waldorf is for all of us, and credit her for creating an educational program where all of our children have thrived. Our participation in the synagogue is slightly non-traditional. I am not yet a member of the men's club. Nancy is not in the women's club. However, it is important to note that I do my part for the congregation and do contribute to the BethChaim brand on the softball field. I was the pitcher for the BC softball team up until recently and had a great run with a couple of championships. We were just like any other softball team that I've played on, except for two things. Unlike my other leagues, we were known to have bagels and lox every now and then on Sunday morning, and after a fateful slide into second base, one of our players was injured enough to receive an ambulance. Can you believe it? 2 teams filled with Jewish men and not a doctor on the field. We were all shocked and still laugh to this day. Another little-known fact about my stealthy synagogue participation is that I blow the shofar every year. I bring my childhood shofar acquired on my bar mitzvah trip to Hebron in 1980 and have demonstrated my skills for a wide audience, including special needs, our youngest children, and our teens. Maybe one day they will let me on the bima. For now, I wait patiently in the bullpen for the signal. As of now, we are in great hands.
As a working mother of 2 in a very busy household, I have not been able to give much time throughout the years to volunteer for activities here at BethChaim. Recently, I was asked to be a part of the communication committee for Rabbi's Transition, a 2-year commitment, and I couldn't be more excited. Not that you're leaving, Rabbi, but because of the new connections I have made. I have met the most wonderful group of people whose paths may never have crossed but for this committee. You see, Rabbi, even on your way out, you have been the force of our introspection and the reason behind our need to re-envision the next 40 years. Thank you.
Nancy and I aren't much different than any of you, busy up to your eyeballs. Not only are we transitioning our congregation, but many of us are transitioning in our personal lives. There are times when you may be able to get involved in synagogue activities, and there are times when you cannot. The synagogue has been there for us close to 18 years, mostly in times of celebration, and recently in the death of my beloved father. Over the years, we gave what we could. We attended fundraisers, Shabbat dinners, pizza parties, Purim carnivals, and lectures. We blew the shofar, gave our time, joined a committee, bought a menorah. Even though every little bit helps, we have done the most important thing, that was to commit to raising Jewish children. Let's not assume that this place will take care of itself. Let's not assume that someone else will do it. Let's put more supports in place to support those who are here to grow our congregation. We ask that you reflect upon the importance of Beth Chaim in your lives and how you can play a role in our next chapter. I thank the board, Ken, our president, and our past presidents for their courage as they lead us into the future. Within the next week, you will receive a letter from us, myself and Nancy, on congregation letterhead, asking for you to formally support the synagogue. Please consider doing something, whatever you can, to help us continue to flourish for years to come. Thank you, and Lashana Tova.
I call to the bima Gary Fox. Page 297.
Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praise forever.
Happy the people to whom such blessings fall.
Happy the people whose God is the Lord.
I will exalt you, my sovereign God. I will bless your name forever.
Every day I will bless you. I will extol your name forever.
Great is the Eternal One and worthy of praise, infinite in greatness.
One generation shall acclaim your works to the next. They shall tell of your mighty acts.
They shall consider your radiant glory.
They shall reflect on your wondrous
works.
They shall speak of your awesome might and make known your greatness.
They shall tell the world of your great goodness and sing of your righteousness.
God is gracious and compassionate, endlessly patient, overflowing with love.
The Lord is good to all. His compassion shelters all his creatures.
All your works shall thank you.
Your faithful shall bless you.
They shall speak of your majestic glory and tell of your strength.
To reveal your power to the world and the glorious splendor of your kingdom.
You are the sovereign to the end of the time.
Your dominion endures through all generations.
You support the falling, Eternal One. You raise up all who are bowed down.
The eyes of all are turned to you. You sustain them in time of need.
You open your hand to fulfill the needs of all the living.
Lord, just in all your ways, loving in all your deeds.
You are near to all who call upon you, to all who call upon you in truth.
You fulfill the hope of all who revere him. You hear their cry and help them.
You preserve those who love you, but the lawless you bring to grief. My lips shall declare the glory of God. Let all flesh praise your holy name forever and ever.
We will bless the Lord now and always. Hallelujah.
Page 303, we rise for Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. אמן. בעלמא. 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 תברח יראותיה וימליך מלכותיה לך יכון וביום ההון ובחיית את כל בית ישראל ואמרו ויתרומם, ויתנשא, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתעלל. שמד קודשה, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, אמירת נעמה, ואמרה
Baruch 304.
את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם יוצר אור ובורא חושך עושה שלום ובורא את הכל.
Maker of darkness and dawn, the God who opens the gates of mercy, who gives light to all who await forgiveness, be with us on this day of atonement.
God of times and seasons, be with us this day.
God of hope and joy, be with us this day.
God of the loving heart, be with us this day.
Be with us as we look for strength to be free, freedom to struggle against those who worship power, and power to resist all who would oppress us.
God of freedom and right, be with us this day.
O one and only God, you have made each of us unique and formed us to be united into one family of life. Be with us, Eternal One, as we seek to unite our lives with your power and your love.
We proclaim now your oneness and our own hope for unity. We claim your creative power in the universe and in ourselves, the law that binds world to world and heart to heart.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. We join in V'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
In this world waiting to be redeemed, our hearts cry out, cannot our deepest hopes at last come true? Many are our defeats, yet how many are our deliverances? After servitude to Pharaoh, we chose service to God. After exile in Babel, we rebuild God's shrine. Yesterday's wounds, so nearly fatal, begin to heal, and Israel, living still, plants new seeds of redemption.
Let the time come when all peoples will be joined in bonds that cannot break. The nations will yet be at peace. The earth will yield good fruit. Fountains and waters will result. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, and all will sing with one accord.
שירה חדשה, שיבחו גאולים, לשמך שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו. ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, קולנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני, קהל ישראל.
Page 308, we rise for Amidah.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה ואלוהי רחל ולאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה.
הגיבור, לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע. מי כמוך אב הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים. ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל.
Your might, O God, is everlasting. You are the source of life and blessing.
Help us to choose life for ourselves and our children.
You are the support of the falling.
Help us to lift up the fallen.
You are the author of freedom.
Help us to set free the captive.
You are our hope in death as in life.
Help us to keep faith with those who sleep in the dust.
Your might, O God, is everlasting.
Help us to use our strength for good.
Please be seated. Unatana Tokef. On Rosh Hashanah we reflect. On Yom Kippur we consider. Who shall live for the sake of others? Who, dying, shall leave a heritage of life?
Who shall burn the fires of greed? Who shall drown the waters of despair?
Whose hunger shall be for the good? Who shall thirst for justice and right?
Whose tongue shall be a thrusting sword? Whose words shall make for peace?
Who shall be plagued by fear of the world? Who shall strangle for lack of friends?
Who shall rest at the end of day? Who lies sleepless on a bed of pain?
Who shall go forth in the quest for truth?
Who shall be locked in the prison of self?
Who shall be serene in every storm? Who shall be troubled by the passing breeze?
Who shall be poor in the midst of possessions? Who shall be rich, content with their lot?
Repentance, prayer, and charity, these return us to our God.
Forgiving the past, renewed for tomorrow, may we go forth with rejoicing to a year of great goodness.
ונתנה תוקף קדושת היום.
ונתנה תוקף קדושת היום.
כי הוא נורא ואיום, ובו תינשא מלכותך.
ויקום בחסד כיסאך,
ותשב עליו באמת.
ויקום בחסד כיסאך,
ותשב עליו באמת. אמת כי אתה הוא דיין ומוכיח, ויודע ואל וחותם וסופר ומענה, ותזכור כל הנשכחות, ותפתח את ספר הזיכרונות. כל צבא מרום בדין. בדין. כי לא יזכור בדין, כי לא יזכור בנך בדין. וכל באי עולם תעביר לבניך, כי בני מרון. כבקרת רועה מעביר צאנו תחת שבטו. לכל בריאה ותכתוב את גזר דינה.
Let us proclaim the sacred power of this day. It is awesome and full of dread. For on this day your dominion is exalted, your throne established in steadfast love. There in truth you reign, in judge you are, in truth you are judge and arbiter, counsel and witness. You write and you seal, you record and recount, you remember deeds long forgotten. You open the book of our days, and what is written there proclaims itself, for it bears the signature of every human being.
The great shofar is sounded, the still small voice is heard. The angels gripped by fear and trembling declare in our awe, this is the day of judgment, for even the hosts of heaven are judged, as all that dwell on earth stand arrayed before you.
As the shepherd seeks out the flock and makes the sheep pass under the staff, so do you muster and number and consider every soul, setting the bounds of every creature's life and decreeing its destiny.
בראש השנה, בראש השנה ייכתב וביום צום כיפור, וביום צום כיפור ייכתב בראש השנה ייכתב 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 וביום צום כיפור ייכתב כמה יעבורון וכמה יבריון מי לא בקיצו, מי באש ומי במים. בראש השנה ייכתבו יום צום כיפור, ייכתבו בראש השנה, ייכתבו יום צום כיפור, ייכתבו. מי ברב ומי בצמא, ומי במגפה. בראש השנה ייכתבו יום צום כיפור, ייכתבו בראש השנה, ייכתבו יום צום כיפור, ייכתבו. מי בחניקה ומי בסקילה, מי ינוח ומי ינוח, מי ישקיט ומי יטורף, מי ישלב ומי יתייסר. בראש השנה, בראש השנה ייכתבו. וביום צום כיפור, וביום צום כיפור ייכתבו. בראש השנה ייכתבו, ביום צום כיפור ייכתבו. בראש השנה ייכתבו, ביום צום כיפור ייכתבו. מי אני ומי ישיר, מי יושפל ומי ירום. תשובה ותפילה וצדקה, מעבירי את רוע הזרע.
On Rosh Hashanah it is written, on Yom Kippur it is sealed. How many shall pass on, how many shall come to be? Who shall live and who shall die? Who shall see ripe age and who shall not? Who shall perish by fire and who by water? Who by sword and who by beast? Who by hunger and who by thirst? Who by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who shall be secure and who shall be driven? Who shall be tranquil and who shall be troubled? Who shall be poor and who shall be rich? Who shall be humbled and who exalted? But repentance, prayer, and charity temper judgment's severe decree. This is your glory. You are slow to anger, ready to forgive. It is not the death of sinners you seek, but that they should turn from their ways and live. Until the last day you wait for them, welcoming them as soon as they turn to you.
You have created us and know what we are. We are but flesh and blood.
Our origin is dust. Our dust is end. Each of us is a shattered urn, grass that must wither, flower that will fade, a shadow moving on, a cloud passing by, a particle of dust floating on the wind, a dream soon forgotten.
But you are the King, the everlasting God.
We rise for Kedusha.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו, אדוני אדוננו, מדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו, והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה.
Please be seated. To all generations we will make known your greatness, and to all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Together, grant honor to your people, glory to those who revere you, hope to those who seek you, and courage to those who trust you.
Bless your land with gladness,
In the city with joy,
and cause the light of redemption to dawn for all who dwell on earth.
then the just shall see and exult.
The upright be glad, and the faithful sing for joy. Violence shall rage no more, and evil shall vanish like smoke. The rule of tyranny shall pass away from the earth, and you alone shall have dominion over all the
These terms shall reign forever and ever. Be God, O Zion, from generation to generation.
קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין אלוה מבלעדיך ככתוב. ויקבע אדוני צבאות במשפט, והאל הקדוש נקדש בצדקה. ברוך אתה אדוני המלך הקדוש.
Page 321 at the bottom, Birkat Shalom.
אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, ברכנו בברכה המשולשת הכתובה בתורה. יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
יהי רצון.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה.
יהי רצון.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום.
יהי רצון. שים שלום.
ארכנו אבינו, כולנו כאחד באור פניך, כי באור פניך נתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו תורת חיים ואהבת חסד וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים ושלום. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל ואת כל העמים בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך.
On page 324, we rise. For transgressions against God, the Day of Atonement atones. But for transgressions of one human being against another, the Day of Atonement does not atone until they have made peace with one another. I hereby forgive all who have hurt me, and all who have wronged me, whether deliberately or inadvertently, whether by word or by deed. May no one be punished on my account, as I forgive and pardon those who have wronged me.
May those whom I have harmed forgive and pardon me,
whether I acted deliberately or inadvertently,
whether by word or by deed.
Eloheinu v'Eloi avotenu v'imotenu, tavo lefanecha tefilatenu, ve'al titalam mitchinatenu, she'en anachnu hazeifanim, וכשעורף לומר לבניך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו. צדיקים אנחנו ולא חטאנו ולא חטאנו אבל אנחנו חטאנו אבינו
Together, our God, God of our mothers and fathers, grant that our prayers may reach you. Do not be deaf to our pleas, for we are not so arrogant and stiff-necked to stay before you, our God and God of all ages.
We are perfect and have not sinned. Rather do we confess
Page 327, we chant responsively.
Ay, 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 ay. Ashamnu,
Ashamnu,
Bagadnu,
Bagadnu,
Gazalnu,
Gazalnu,
Dibarnu Dofi,
Dibarnu Dofi,
He'evinu,
Evinu,
Vehirshanu,
Vehirshanu,
Zadnu,
Zanu,
Hamasnu,
Hamasnu,
Kafalnu Shaker,
Tavalnu Shaker,
ay, 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 Yatsnura,
Atsnura,
Kizavnu,
Kizahavnu,
Latsnu,
Latsnu,
Maradnu,
Maradnu,
Niyatsnu,
Niasnu,
Sararnu,
Sararnu,
Avinu,
Avinu,
Pashanu,
Ashanu,
Sararnu,
Sararnu,
Kishinu Oref,
Kishinu Oref,
ay, 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 Rashanu,
Rashanu,
Shichadnu,
Shihadnu,
Tiavnu,
Tiavnu,
Tainu,
Tainu,
Titanu.
Titanu. Who among us is righteous enough to say, I have not sinned? We are arrogant, brutal, careless, destructive, egocentric, false, greedy, heartless, insolent, and joyless. Our sins are an alphabet of woe. Together, now may it be your will, O God of all generations, to pardon all our sins, to forgive all our wrongdoings, and to blot out our transgressions. Please be seated. We sin against you when we sin against ourselves. For our failures of truth, O God, we ask forgiveness. For passing judgment without knowledge of the facts. And for distorting facts to fit our theories. For deceiving ourselves and others with half-truths. And for pretending to emotions we do not feel. For using the sins of others to excuse our own. And for denying responsibility for our own misfortunes. For condemning in our children the faults we tolerate in ourselves. And for condemning in our parents the faults we tolerate in ourselves. We sin against you when we sin against ourselves. For our failures of justice, O God, we ask forgiveness. For keeping the poor in the chains of poverty. And turning a deaf ear to the cry of the oppressed. For using violence to maintain our power. And for using violence to bring about change. For waging aggressive war. And for the sin of appeasing aggressors. For obeying criminal orders. And for the sin of silence and indifference. For poisoning the air and polluting land and sea. And for all the evil means we employ to accomplish good ends. We sin against you when we sin against ourselves. For our failures of love, O God, we ask forgiveness. For confusing love with lust. For using others as a means to gratify our desires. And as stepping stones to further our visions. For withholding love to control those we claim to love. And shunning aside those whose youth or age disturbs us. For hiding from others behind an armor of mistrust. And for the cynicism which leads us to mistrust the reality of unselfish love. Teach us to forgive ourselves for all these sins, O forgiving God, and help us to overcome them.
Ve'al kulam Elohim
us, O God of mercy.
Forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך ברכילות, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגילוי עריות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך במאכל ובמשתה, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בצרות עין, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בכחש ובכזב, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בשנאת חינם, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בנטיית גרון, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעזות מצח, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בקלות ראש, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בווידוי פה, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בפלילות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בנשך ובמרבית, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחפת שוחד, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביצר הרע, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בריצת רגליים להרע,
ועל כולם אלו הסליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו.
For all these sins, O God of mercy.
Forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement.
Page 335. As parents show compassion to their children, so do you show compassion to those who revere you. For as the heavens are high above the earth, so is your love unending for those who serve you. As in your love you have been patient with this people from the time you led us out of Egypt to the present day, so in your great love may you forgive your people Israel now.
סלח נא לעוונם הזה כגודל חסדך, וכאשר נסעת לעם הזה ממצרים ועד הנה ועד הנה.
And God said, I have pardoned in response to your plea. Page 336, Shema Kolein.
Shema kolenu, Adonai Eloheinu, השיבנו אדוני אליך, השיבנו אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו, ימינו כקדם. אל תשליכנו אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה, כי כלות כוחנו. אל תעזבנו. שמע קולנו, אדוני אלוהינו, חוס ורחם עלינו, עלינו, וקבל ברחמים, ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו.
I call to the bema Ellen and Arnold Sherman. I call to the bema Rachel Weinstein and Bruce Freilich. And I call to the bema Brian and Ariana Sheff. Please rise.
אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע, וחטא ונקה.
Page 339. Avinu Malkeinu Chadanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu Hachazireinu B'tshuva Shalema Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu Selach Umechal Lechol Avonoteinu. Avinu Chamol aleinu v'yalol aleinu v'tapeinu. Avinu Malkeinu Kale Dever V'cherev V'ra'av Me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu Kadveinu B'sefer Chaim Tovim. Avinu Malkeinu Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu Aseh Imanu L'ma'an Shemecha. Avinu Malkeinu Kabel Berachamim Uvratzon et Tfilateinu. Avinu Malkeinu Chaneinu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu Chaneinu Vaneinu Ki ein banu masim. Aseh imanu tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu tzedaka v'chesed ve'oshiyenu. Avinu Malkeinu Chaneinu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu Chaneinu Vaneinu Ki ein banu masim. Aseh imanu tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu tzedaka v'chesed ve'oshiyenu. Our Father, our King, be gracious and answer us, for we have little merit. Treat us generously and with kindness, and be our help.
Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael v'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Venorah Shemo. Godel Eloheinu tnu chavod laTorah. Lecha Adonai hagedula vehagemura vehatiferet vehanetzach vehaod. Ki chol bashamayim u'ba'aretz. Ki chol bashamayim u'ba'aretz. Adonai
The Torah portion for Yom Kippur is out of the cycle, of course, as are all the major holidays. It is, however, from the book of Deuteronomy. We read this one just 3 weeks ago. It is, of course, the famous passage that says, "You are standing this day, all of you, before God." I always giggle when I read that on the Shabbos 3 weeks before Yom Kippur, because nobody's here. Our rabbis obviously thought it was pretty funny, because when they were deciding what Torah portion we should read on Yom Kippur, they said, "Oh, let's do that one again, because that's the day everybody comes." Page 342, please join me in the blessing before Torah. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, V'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem lifnei Adonai Elohechem. You are standing this day, all of you, before the Lord your God. Roshechem, shivtechem, ziknechem, v'shotrechem. The heads of your tribes, your elders, and your officers. Kol ish Yisrael, every man of Israel. Tapchem, neshechem, v'gercha asher bekerev machanecha. Your wives, your children, the stranger who lives with you. Mechote veitzecha ad shoev meimecha. From the one who chops your wood to the one who draws your water. La'avrecha bivrit Adonai Elohecha uva aloto. To enter into an agreement and a covenant with the Lord your God. Asher Adonai Elohecha koret imcha hayom. Which the Lord your God will make with you today. Lama'an hakimotcha hayom lo la'am. So that he will rise you up, so that you will be his people. V'hu yihi elecha Elohim, and he will be your God. Ka asher diber lecha, as he spoke to you. V'ka asher nishba la'avotecha, la'Avraham, la'Yitzchak, u'l'Yaakov. And as he has sworn to your ancestors, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. V'lo itchem levadchem anochi koret et habrit hazot ve'et ha'alah hazot. But it is not with you alone that I make this covenant and this agreement. Ki et asher yeshno po imanu omed hayom. I make this with all of you who are standing this day, lifnei Adonai Elohecha, here in front of your God. Ve'et asher einenu po imanu hayom. And I also make this covenant binding upon all who are not here today, your descendants. The text jumps. Ki ha-mitzvah hazot asher anochi hayom lo asher anochi mitzavcha hayom. Now this commandment, which I command you this day, lo nifleiti mimcha, it is not far away from you. Lo rechokahu, v'lo b'shamayim hu. It is not far away from you and is not up in the heavens. Lemor, mi ya'aleh lanu hashamayma, v'yikachel lanu v'yashmienu ota v'na'asena. It is not up in the heavens that you should say, who will go up to the heaven and get it for us and bring it down and teach it to us? V'lo me'ever layam hu, and it is not across the sea. Lemor, mi ya'aver lanu el ever hayam, v'yikachel lanu, v'yashmienu ota, v'na'asena. And it is not far off across the sea that we should say, who will go across the sea and get it for us and bring it back and teach it to us? Ki karov elecha hadavar ma'od, b'ficha uvilvavecha la'asoto. But this thing is close to your heart. It is in your lips that you should do it. ראה, נתתי לפניך היום את החיים ואת הטוב, ואת המוות ואת הרע. Look, I place before you a choice today. Life and good, death and evil. אשר אנוכי מצווך היום לאהבה את אדוני אלוהיך. But I command you this day to love the Lord your God, ללכת בדרכיו, to walk in his ways, ולשמור מצוותיו וחוקותיו ומשפטיו. And you should do God's commandments and his laws and his statutes. וחית ורבית וברכך אדוני אלוהיך בארץ אשר אתה בא שמה לרשתה. And if you will do all these good things, then you will live a long life on the land which the Lord gives to you. Ve'im yifneh levavcha, and if you turn your hearts, v'lo tishma, and you do not obey, v'nidachta, v'hishtachavita le'elohim acherim, va'avadatam, and if you bow down and worship other gods and serve them, higadati lachem hayom, I tell you this day, ki abed ta'abdun, you are surely lost. Lo ta'arichun yamim al ha'adama, I will not prolong your days al ha'adama, on the earth asher ata over et hayarden lavo sham al arishta, on the land that you are going across the Jordan to possess. Ha'edoti bachem hayom et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. I call as witness today the heaven and the earth. Hachayim v'hamavet natati lifanecha. Life and death I place before you. Habracha v'haklala, a blessing or a curse. Uvacharta b'chayim, choose life. Lama'an tichiyeh ata v'zaracha, so that you and your children will live. La'ahava et Adonai Elohecha, love the Lord your God. Lishmoa b'kolo, listen to his voice. U'ledov gabo, cling to him. Ki hu chayecha v'orech yamecha, for he is your life and the length of your days. Lashevet al ha'adama, asher nishba Adonai la'avotenu, la'avotecha, la'Avraham, la'Yitzchak, u'la'Yaakov, latet lahem. And then you will rejoice and live in the land which the Lord your God has given to you, to the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to live upon. The blessing is on page 344. Please join me in reading. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Please rise. Please be seated. Okay, on page 347, I call to the Bima Jill Jacqueline, Keith Sachs, and Julie Kolb. The blessing is found on page 346 at the top. Please join the cantor.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divreim hanemarim bemet. Baruch atah Adonai abocher b'Torah uv'Moshe abdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nviei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Kera vegaron al tachso, keshofar harem kolecha, v'haged la'ami pish'am, uveit Yaakov hatotam, ve'oti Yom Yom Yidroshun Vedat Derachai Yichpatsun Kegoy Asher Tzedakah Asa Umishpat Elohav Lo Azah Yishaluni Mishpatei Tzedek Kirvat Elohim Yichpatsun Lama Samnu Velo Ra'ita Ininu Nafshenu Velo Teda Heim Beyom Tzomchem Timseu Chefetz Vechol Atzveihem Tingoshu Hein Leriv Umatzah Tatsumu Uhakot Begrof Resha lo tatsumu hayom lehashmiya bamarom kohem hachazeh Adonai somev charehu yom anot adam nafsho halachof keagmon Rosho Vesak Va'efer Yatzia Halazeh Tikratsom Ve'yom Ratson Ladonai Halo Zeh Somev Charehu Pateach Hartzubo Reshar Hater Agudot Motah Veshalach retzutzim chofshim vechol motah tenateku halo faros lara'ev lachmecha va'anim merodim tavi va'ayit ki tireh aron vechesito umibsarcha Lo titalam.
My English readers, please come on.
I've been told I speak too softly. Would anyone in the last row, fellow congregant, raise his or her hand to indicate that they can hear me? Thank you. Praise be the eternal God, ruler of the universe. You have chosen faithful prophets to speak words of truth. Blessed is the Eternal One, for the revelations of Torah, for Moses your servant, and Israel your people, for the prophets of truth and righteousness. God said, cry with a full throat, do not hold back. Let your voice resound like a shofar. Declare to my people their transgression, and to the house of Jacob their sin. Yes, they seek me daily, as though eager to learn my ways, as if they were a people that does what is right and has not broken the way of its God. They ask of me the right way, as though delighting in the nearness of God. When we fast, you say, why do you pay no heed? Why, when we afflict ourselves, do you take no notice? Because on your fast day, you pursue your own affairs, while you oppress all your workers, because your fasting leads only to strife and discord, while you strike with cruel fist. Such a way of fasting on this day will not help you to be heard on high. Is this the fast I have chosen, a fast of self-affliction, bowing your head like a reed and covering yourself with sackcloth and ashes? Is this what you call a fast, a day that is acceptable to the Eternal? Is not this the fast I have chosen, to unlock the shackles of injustice, to loosen the ropes of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, and to tear every yoke apart? Surely it is to share your bread with the hungry and to bring the homeless poor into your house. When you see the naked, to cover them, never withholding yourself from your own kin.
I will use this also. Then shall your light break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall quickly blossom. Your righteous one will walk before you. The glory of the Eternal One will be your rear guard. Then when you call, the Eternal One will answer. When you cry, God will say, Here I am. If you remove lawlessness from your midst, the pointing finger, the malicious word, if you give yourself to the hungry and satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light shall shine in the darkness, and your night become bright as noon. The Eternal One will guide you always, filling your throat in parched lands and renewing your body's strength. You shall be like a garden overflowing with water, like a spring that never fails. Some of you shall rebuild the ancient ruins, rebuilding the foundations of ages past. You shall be called repairer of the breach, restorer of streets to dwell in. If you keep from trampling the Sabbath, from pursuing your own affairs on my holy day, if you call the Sabbath a delight, the Eternal One's holy day honored, if you honor it, abstaining from journeys, from carrying on your own affairs or speaking of them, then you shall delight in the Eternal One. I will make you to ride upon the heights of the earth, and I will feed you with the portion of Jacob your father. The Eternal One has spoken.
Page 350. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sol kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'mdaber u'mkayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'neviim ועל יום הכיפורים הזה שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו למחילה ולסליחה ולכפרה לכבוד ולתפארת על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד ולברך אמת וקיים לעד ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מוחל וסולח לעוונותינו ולעוונות עמו בית ישראל ומעביר אשמותינו בכל שנה ושנה מלך על כל הארץ מקדש ישראל ויום הכיפורים.
Amen. Page 356, we rise for the return of the Torah.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו.
This is it. The end. Repent. Reminds me of a story about a Jewish paint contractor. Many jobs he had for years been watering down his paint to save money. So on Yom Kippur he felt guilty, he went to his rabbi to confess. You of course know what the rabbi said to him. He said, "Repaint, my son, and thin no more." I got to get all my jokes in today. It's over. The end is near. Judgment Day has come. And I have to ask myself, so what is it I stand for? I am ready to meet my end. And as I slowly begin to fade away into the future to evanesce, I want to take into account on this, my 42nd Yom Kippur here at BethChaim, exactly what I've tried to teach you. I have tried to be a good rabbi these 45 years of my career. I have given much of my heart and soul here to Congregation BethChaim, as well as my days and nights. I don't know what you will remember of me when you look back, but I hope that you will remember me smiling at you. I hope you will remember what I tried to teach you, the ideals that I call cardinal principles of Wisnostotelian logic. Now, for those of you who don't get that joke, think of a younger, thinner, more hirsute Eric Wisnia, sitting in college at the University of Pennsylvania back in the 60s in Philadelphia, and I was learning about a body of knowledge taught by Aristotle, the great Greek pedagogue and tutor of the young Alexander the Great. Scholars have called his body of knowledge Aristotelian logic. Now, I am sadly no Aristotle, but to salve my vanity, I have called my little tidbits of knowledge that I cling to Wisnostotelian logic. I do so to honor the master Aristotle and to laugh at myself every time I say it. Okay, let us learn and relearn what I've tried to teach you for 41 years. Wisnostotelian logic. Number one, we Jews take Torah seriously. We do not take it literally. Please repeat it with me now. We Jews take Torah seriously. We do not take it literally. Thank you. I learned that first time I heard it was from my colleague, Rabbi Arnie Gluck of Hillsborough, a brilliant and talented Reform rabbi who learned it from his teacher, Rabbi Gunther Plaut, editor of the Reformed Torah. The Torah is our book. We Jews are the people of that book. It is our story, our history, our myths, our morality, and our holidays. In short, Torah is what we learn from and live from. It tells us how to be good, moral people. It tells us how to organize our year and the right way to live. The Torah was written down by our ancestors in their ancient language, Hebrew. There were several different writings that were handed down. They were all collected and edited by Ezra, the Sofer, the prophet, the scribe, who on Rosh Hashanah in 450 BCE, when the Jews had just returned from Babylonian exile and had finished rebuilding Jerusalem and our new second temple, Ezra edited the Torah into one big scroll, and he read it aloud to the people on that very first Rosh Hashanah when we dedicated that new second temple. We have been reading and studying and living by that Torah ever since for 2,568 years. You can find this story in Ketuvim in the chapter of Nehemiah, number 8. As I said, we Jews should take Torah seriously, not literally. Torah speaks to us in human language. It is written for us, real people, us, the Jews, to learn and study. Our rabbis felt it needed to be pondered and understood. Then we would observe. A good example, Exodus chapter 21, and again in Leviticus, the text tells us literally, an eye for an eye. Now our rabbis ask the question, commenting on this verse, that you can't observe it literally. In fact, they go further, telling us you shouldn't observe it literally. They continue, if a blind man destroys your eye, he has no eye to give in return. This means that a blind man's eye is not worth the same as a sighted man's eye. So if we take his eye, the loss is not equal. So the rabbis teach, ayin tachad ayin, lo mamash, ella mamon. If you damage or take his eye, you must pay monetary compensation to the wounded man equal to the loss of the eye. An eye for an eye, not literally, but rather monetary compensation. That is Jewish law. An eye for an eye, the rabbis say, establishes the principle that punishment must fit the crime. Punishment must be equal to the crime. Now in Sharia Muslim law, if you steal, your hand is cut off. That is not punishment fits the crime, it is far worse. In Jewish law, you pay back several-fold what you stole. You pay damages for what you do, equal to the crime. The second point about not taking Torah literally is the story of Pesach Sheni, the second Passover, told in the book of Numbers, chapter 9. Here, the story is that some Jews come before Moses right before Passover and tell him that a parent had died recently and they did the burial. Dealing with dead bodies and burying them is a mitzvah and a necessary thing, but it renders you unclean for a month. And if you are unclean, you cannot make the Passover sacrifice. These people are caught in a catch-22. They are unclean because they were doing the mitzvah of burying the dead, and now they cannot do the mitzvah of Passover. So they ask Moses what to do. And like every good rabbi, Moses strokes his beard and says, let me think about that. So where does he go? He asks God. And God tells him, good question, let me think about that. Come back in the morning and I'll have an answer. Of course, Moses comes back the next morning and God says, Pesach is so important that unclean people should wait a month till after their uncleanliness passes and then do Pesach a month later than everybody else, because it is better to do it the best you can even a month later than not to do it at all. If you can't do it right, do the best you can. We figure out what Torah wants. We figure out how it's speaking to us and observe it. We take it most seriously. We do not take it literally. Cardinal principle number 2, Cantor. Class, please read with me. Prayers don't change things. Prayers change people, and people change things. Now, I'll admit, I am smart. This is good. This is so good, I should have patented it. I didn't. I have many favorite prayers, but there's one on page 47 of our prayer book that I love that talks just about this. It goes like this. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer cannot bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. Friends, we have to stop asking God to do things for us. Stop using prayer as a list of wants and demands that we put on God. It doesn't work. I've tried it. Do you know how many times I have asked God for $1 million to be left outside my door? Do you know how many times I asked God not to let my son die in agony? We have to learn that God does not work supernatural miracles to make us happy. So what is God? Where do we find God? Cantor, let us see Wisnia's corollary. Read together with me. Wisnia's corollary, God equals good. Just add an O in the middle. There is goodness in life. We have to see it all around us. We want the supernatural, but I assure you, it will not happen. And because we want the supernatural, sometimes we ignore all the beauty around us. Story about old Zeke down in Louisiana. I know you'll find it hard to believe that there was rain and a flood going on down there. Old Zeke saw the river rising, and all his friends started moving out to shelter. But Zeke said, "No, I believe in the Lord, and I prayed for a miracle. God's going to save me." He was not going to budge until God sent a miracle, and so he sat on his porch. The water started to rise slowly, and a cop car came down the street, splashing through the inches-high water as he went. "Sir," he called out, "we're here to evacuate you. Please come out to the car." Old Zeke said, "I refuse. I believe in the Lord, and I'm praying for a miracle." The police could not wait, so they went on their way. The water kept rising, and old Zeke had to move up to the second floor. He was sitting there looking out the window, praying to God for a miracle. Soon he saw a small motorboat coming up the flooded street. The boat motored over to his window, and some guy in a Coast Guard thing yelled out to him, "Sir, please come aboard. We're evacuating everyone before the water rises." "No," said Zeke, "I'm waiting for the Lord to send a miracle." And he waved as the boat went farther away looking for other stranded people. Well, the water kept rising, and Zeke had to go up to his roof. Once again, he prayed to God to send a miracle to save him. He looked up, and there was a helicopter above him, lowering one of those chain cabin things where you sit in it and it hauls you up. And he issued his old refrain, "No, I'm not. I'm praying to God. He will send a miracle to save me." The winds picked up. Helicopter had to leave. The water kept rising, and Zeke drowned. He went up to heaven, of course, and there he met the good Lord. And the first thing Zeke said to him was, "Lord, I prayed for a miracle for you to save me, and where were you?" "Zeke," the Lord said, "first I sent the cop car, then I sent the Coast Guard, and then I sent a helicopter." But we want the supernatural. To see God, all you have to do is add an O in the middle and see the good. It is always all around you. There are always people who are there to help you. Look into the eyes of someone who loves you. Remember, prayers don't change things. Prayers change people, and people change things. And number 3, Jewish theology is Jewish sociology. Or, as I like to put it for the kids, to be Jewish, you do Jewish. It means that our philosophy is encapsulated in our rituals and holidays. You learn morality in the concept of mitzvah by observing Jewish rituals. Our rituals are there to teach us things about morality and communal living. I remember once when I was at college, I walked into a strange shul, and the gabbai yelled at me, "Put on a kippah!" Well, I was ornery in those days, so just to annoy him, I said, "Why?" And he said, "I don't care, just do it." I thought about that, and I realized that's idolatry. Worshipping a form without substance and meaning. Meaningless ritual doesn't make you a Jew. We don't wear a yarmulke because God doesn't like to see the top of our heads. We wear a yarmulke because it says, I go up to here and I stop. There is a higher authority than me. Performing a ritual should teach you a meaning. Celebrating Pesach with your family isn't just a nice meal together. It's a meaningful statement that you are a Jewish family who recognizes that your ancestors were slaves in Egypt and suffered discrimination. We eat the matzah and do the Seder to remember how we suffered, how we felt oppression, and to pledge to never let that ever happen again to other strangers, because we know the heart of the stranger. Observing rituals and holidays, and that makes our religion teach us morality. When you stop practicing rituals, when you leave our community, you lose a method of teaching and reinforcing morality to yourself and your family. Another story, since this is my last sermon and I have to get them all in. A maisa about a Russian-Polish shtetl in the old days. A fellow Leibovich who used to attend the minyan all the time, he had a fight with another fellow over something that somebody said to somebody about another person at a committee meeting and blah, blah, blah. Leibovich got insulted and left the shul in a huff, and he didn't come back. For a month, the Rebbe and the minyan waited. Fortunately, they still had enough for the minyan, but after a month, the rabbi said, "Dayenu, genug is genug." He waited until a cold, freezing day, snowy morning, and the Rebbe walked over to the house and the shop of Leibovich. "Shalom Aleichem, Panya Leibovich." Surprised, the man said to the rabbi, "Aleichem Shalom, Rabbi." Leibovich was about to say something else when the Rebbe held up his hand and, eyeing the fire roaring in the fireplace on the side of the room in the hearth, the Rebbe said, "It's cold outside. Can I warm myself by your fire?" Surprised, Leibovich pulled out 2 chairs, and they sat and they stared at the fire's burning coals. Neither one said a word. After a minute, the Rebbe picked up the tongs hanging on the side of the hearth and picked out one of the glowing red-hot coals from the middle of the fire. He put it outside the fire on the bricks that surrounded the front of the hearth, and he put it down, and then he sat back in his chair. Leibovich didn't know what to do, so the 2 of them sat there and watched this single burning coal on the bricks outside the hearth. At first, the coal still burned bright red with heat, but after a while, the coal all by itself began to dim, slowly turn black, and then go out. The Rebbe turned to Leibovich and said, "Please come back. We need you, and you need us for the warmth." Number 3 on Wisdom logic: to be a Jew, you need to be part of a community and live a Jewish life. All by itself, a Jewish soul will flicker out and fade. Read it with me. Jewish theology is Jewish sociology. Please remember the principles I have tried to teach you. It has been my life's work, as I tell you. A young Bucher came to his Rebbe right before his bar mitzvah and said, "You know, Rabbi, I've been praying and going to shul all these years. And I've been asking God to make peace, and there's still war. And I've been praying to God all these years to feed the hungry, and there's still poverty and hunger. And I've been praying for God to heal the sick, and there are still people who get sick and die. So what's the point? Religion is meaningless and useless. The Rebbe said, you know, I've noticed this too. There is still war and strife. People go hungry. There is still disease and pain all over the world. But let me ask you a question, my boy. While you were praying for God to make world peace, did you go to anyone you might have wronged and asked for forgiveness? Did you go up to a new person, a stranger, and do a random act of kindness? Well, no, said the kid. I was kind of hoping God would do that. And while you were praying, said the rabbi, did you work at the soup kitchen or donate money to a food shelter to help anybody? The kid, of course, said, no, not really. I was hoping God would do that. And while you were praying, said the rabbi, did you go visit some sick people or buy them medicine or help out at a hospital? Well, not really, said the kid. I was hoping God would do that. Yes, my son. Let us continue to ask God to do it, and then let us go do it ourselves. God has no hands but ours. This is the end, the last dose of Wisnia. My favorite poem is called Pronouns by Carla Wilson Baker. I heard this poem from my rabbi, Herbert Hendel, so many years ago, and I still picture him on the bima at Temple Shalom in Levittown as he prayed this poem and taught it to me. Pronouns by Carla Wilson Baker. The Lord said, say we, but I shook my head, held my hands tight behind my back and said stubbornly, I. The Lord said, say we, but I looked upon them, all grimy and all awry. Myself in all those twisted shapes, ah no, distastefully I turned my head away, persisting they. The Lord said, say we, and I, at last, richer by a hoard of years and tears, looked into their eyes and found the heavy word that bent my neck and bowed my head. Like a shamed schoolboy, then I mumbled low, we, Lord. So my friends, my congregants, my Jews, please remember your old Rebbe. Please forget the bad or stupid things that I did or said. That was not the real me that I wanted to be. If in the past I have offended you or neglected you or not done as well by you as I should have, please forgive me. Please do remember the principles that I tried to teach. Please lead a good Jewish life and have a happy and a healthy new year. Shana Tova.
Yes, following the rabbi is never a good thing. I will be quicker. A Jewish parent calls his son in New Jersey. The father says to David, I hate to tell you, but your mother and I can't stand each other anymore, and we are divorcing. That's it? I want to live out the rest of my life in peace. I'm telling you now, so you and your sister don't go into shock later when I move out. The father hangs up. David immediately calls his sister an LBI and tells her the news. The sister says, I'll handle this. The sister calls Florida, gets her father on the phone. She pleads to her father, don't do anything till David and I get down there. We will be there on Friday. The father says, all right already. When the father hangs up the phone, he hollers to his wife, okay, they're coming for the high holidays. I'm proud and humbled to be a congregational president. I became president on December 8th, which also happens to be the wedding anniversaries of two of us on the Bima, albeit a few years apart. I've been a member here for over 20 years and was not very involved for most of them. The congregational trip to Israel in 2010, led by Rabbi Wisnia, changed all that. I know several of you are here, a lot of you in the front. I attended a leadership class here at Beth Chaim and was asked to be on the board. I quickly said yes and spent 4.5 years, first as a trustee, then treasurer, and vice president of financial affairs before being elected president. Since I became president, it's been relatively quiet here. So that was a joke that didn't work. As we just say goodbye to 5778, I like to reflect back on the many accomplishments of our community. As we look forward to 5779 and beyond, I'm excited about the year ahead and the future. In 5778, we'll convene a new fundraising group with participation from the board, men's club, sisterhood, and the congregation at large. Many ideas were thrown around, and from there, 3 of them were implemented. We have been selling reusable blue grocery type bags. If you haven't purchased a set, please do so. We had a clothing drive that was wildly successful. The office was packed with bags the weekend of the drive. And finally, we had our first art auction in 10 years. We were optimistic, but never expected the turnout that we had. The art auction netted us $10,000, and everyone enjoyed the food, wine, camaraderie, and of course the art. Our annual meeting was attended by over 100 congregants. We went through the business of the synagogue, celebrated the 70th anniversary of the State of Israel with the choir and the children, handed out the Sisterhood College Scholarship, and listened to Galik Peleg from the Consulate General of Israel in New York advocate for the virtues of Israel, including TV shows like Homeland and Fauda. It was a wonderful morning, and I hope to see you there next April. We received a grant from Homeland Security that enabled us to fortify our doors and windows. You saw the new doors as you entered the building today. We had the multi-purpose room recarpeted and painted. If you haven't seen it, please swing by. Several committees were formed during the year. The first one was the Executive Director Search Committee, led by Lisa Garwood, that resulted in Orly Klugman joining us about 4 months ago. We then formed 3 committees having to do with Rabbi Wisnia's retirement. The Interim Rabbi Search Committee, chaired by Gene Withers, met over a number of months interviewing and vetting candidates. We are in the final stages of that process and look forward to an announcement in the coming weeks. We formed 2 transition committees with Sharon Hoffman Manning serving as the overall chair. The first committee, the Rabbi's Benefit Committee, chaired by Karen Brodsky, has done a tremendous job planning the events to take place over the next 4 months, including the November 3rd benefit and several weekends where former proteges of Rabbi Wisnia's will be returning to us. Please take a flyer as you leave today. The second committee, the Transition Committee, chaired by Rhonda Schaffler-Wydra, has been planning for all of the transitions surrounding Rabbi Wisnia's retirement, including FAQs, dedicated email addresses, town hall meetings, and reaching out to congregants. On November 21st at 11 a.m., I will be joined by Rabbis Wisnia and Blum for a Q&A, and I hope that you will join us. I want to thank all of the committee chairs and participants in these and other committees, including Ritual, House, Tikkun Olam, Caring, Creating Community, Investment Advisory, Finance, the Sisterhood and Men's Club, and all of the volunteers at our wonderful events for their tremendous work and dedication to our temple. If I left anybody out or any group out, I apologize and we thank you. I especially want to thank the board for all of their work and commitment to Beth Chaim. Many of them spend more time here than at home. It was a pleasure to speak with you during calls the board made to congregants before Rosh Hashanah. Speaking to many of you reminded me how wonderful this community is. Everyone on the board found it to be a most rewarding experience. Thank you for being so engaging on those calls. This is the community for all of us, whether you serve on committees, attend services every Friday evening, or only attend High Holy Day services, although we will work on changing that. On Sunday, the board approved the year-end 6/30/18 financials. Our financials showed an increase in net assets on revenue that was slightly down largely due to the demographic shifts of the community around Beth Chaim. Our preschool and summer camp continued to be extremely successful despite the obvious challenges, and our endowment continues to grow, approaching $900,000 at year end. Thanks to our community for your tremendous support. As we look towards 5779, we will be installing a new roof. Our existing roof gave us years of shelter, but at last, it's time for a new beginning and a new roof. Of course, we will continue our transition as we expect an interim rabbi to be with us from February 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020, when a new permanent senior rabbi will take over. As Rabbi Wisnia stated so well on Rosh Hashanah, we will convene a search committee, listen to our congregants, and only then determine the best course for Congregation Beth Chaim. Meanwhile, we will continue our wonderful children's and adult programming, and our men's club and sisterhood have many wonderful events planned. You'll be receiving a survey in the coming weeks, asking important questions about the future of Beth Chaim. Please give us your input. Anyone who has walked into this building knows the amount of effort the staff continues to put in day and night. Thanks to Anna and Rabbi Blum, who served as de facto executive directors for several months despite all of their other responsibilities. I find it amazing the breadth of events and activities that we offer at Beth Chaim. These have to be organized, planned, and implemented. It truly takes a village. Thanks to Orly, who has hit the ground running in her 5 months with us. If you haven't met Orly yet, please make sure you introduce yourself to her. Thanks to Stuart for being the calm one in all of this insanity, and of course, his voice. Lastly, but certainly not least, thanks to Rabbi Wisnia for his over 41 years of preaching, social action, wisdom, humbleness, support for Israel, bringing together the many religions in our community, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say his wit. What will we miss most of all? I wouldn't be alone if I said all of it. We did get to witness many of these qualities, especially the wit, when he was honored this past Thursday evening by the Jewish Federation of Mercer Bucks. It was a wonderful evening, thoroughly enjoyed by those in attendance. Dessert wasn't bad either. Thank you to the President, Don Leibowitz, and the Federation for honoring our beloved rabbi. On Rosh Hashanah, you heard Rabbi Wisnia say that he will judge his success as a rabbi based upon our continued Jewishness, lighting Shabbat candles, coming to temple for the adult ed, and holiday rituals. He asks us to remain a member, come to High Holy Days, and celebrate other holidays here. It's up to all of us to ensure Beth Chaim remains a vibrant community for years to come. Shana Tova.
And just a quick note on 5780, you may have noticed a beautiful banner in the lobby advertising Drinking from Miriam's Well, a women's spirituality trip to Israel. In November of next year, 2019, Ann Berman-Waldorf and I will be leading a group of people who identify as women, bat mitzvah age or older, who will come with us to Israel. If you're interested, please let either one of us know. This was a trip inspired by our congregants who were interested in a trip to Israel for progressive liberal reform Jewish women. And we're very, very excited about it. And if you don't identify as a woman and are interested in a trip of your own, please also let us know so that that can be the next trip to Israel. Thank you. All right, what comes next? Clearly it's not lunch. So at 2 o'clock, we have two options. You can stay here in our sanctuary for a pre-reader family service, which is a lot of fun, or you can join Ann Berman Waldorf in the library for a study session. And if you have a child that we stole, please pick up your children in the multi-purpose room as soon as we conclude. Babysitting is still in room 1213.
So we do not end with a benediction or end because the day goes on. So hopefully you'll have an easy fast, and we'll see you later. 3 o'clock is Yizkor. You did a beautiful job. Thank you so much. What?
Are you Next date is October 12th.
That's really good. That's funny. Right. Well done. We'll pick an afternoon or evening and come over, we'll do it. You don't have to, but you know, if you want to invite me for lunch, you don't have to.
My mother would be up there going,